Global warming.
What is it? Why is it happening?
Google defines global warming as the gradual increase in the overall temperature of the Earth's atmosphere, generally attributed to the greenhouse effect caused by increased levels of carbon dioxide, chlorofluorocarbons, and other pollutants.
But it is so much more. Global warming is affecting life as we know it. Sea levels are rising. Glaciers are melting. Droughts are occurring.
Coastlines are wearing away, and we need to understand why. We believe that humans are the cause. The National Wildfire Federation puts it simply, saying human activity, such as burning fossil fuels, causes more greenhouse gases to build up in the atmosphere. As the atmosphere thickens with more greenhouse gases, more heat is held in.
Greenhouse gases are able to capture and redirect long wavelength and infrared radiation, commonly referred to as heat, and redirect 90% back to the Earth's surface, locking into a cycle and keeping our world insulated.
Carbon dioxide is one of these greenhouse gases. Over the past 70 years, carbon dioxide has been rising above levels that we have never seen before. This change is because of increased fossil fuel emissions. In the past 400,000 years, the CO2 levels have never breached 300 parts per million. In 2008, they reached 383 parts per million, and as of today, they are at 403 and showing no signs of stopping. We were privileged enough to speak with Dr. Mark Cerise, the director at the National Snow and Ice Data Center. We asked him if there was a chance that carbon dioxide could now be driving temperature, contrary to what we have seen in the past.
Well, yes, in the past, if you look in the paleoclimate records, such as from ice cores, right, what you find is that carbon dioxide can actually work as what we call a feedback to further amplify climate change. Now, it can work both ways. If we look at what's happening today, over the past 100 years or so, carbon dioxide is acting as a driver of climate change. Yeah. That is, we increase the carbon dioxide level and things warm up as a result. But carbon dioxide, we know quite well, can also operate as a feedback. In other words, let's say by some other mechanism that we warm the climate up a bit. If we do that, then carbon can come out of reservoirs, like in the ocean or on the land, and that will increase the load of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and cause a further warming. So it can work in both directions. There's nothing that's contradictory here at all.
People speculate that human increased CO2 levels cannot be the cause of global warming due to the fact that carbon dioxide levels make up practically a microscopic portion of our entire atmosphere, being less than 0.001%. It seems that they shouldn't do much, but Dr. Mark Cerise proves otherwise.
It's not how much of the atmosphere that it represents, it's what its radiative effects are. Carbon dioxide, yes, is a very small component of the atmosphere, but just because it's a small component of the atmosphere doesn't mean it's not important, right? Mm-hmm. If you look at how much arsenic you have in your food, right? Well, it's be a very small amount, but no one's saying that a small amount is good, right? And that a small amount doesn't matter, right? It's not necessarily the concentration, it's its effect. And carbon dioxide acts as an effective greenhouse gas.
The Union of Concerned Scientists states that lower-level atmosphere, which contains a carbon load, is expanding. The boundary between the lower atmosphere, the troposphere, and the higher atmosphere, called the stratosphere, has shifted upwards in recent decades. This boundary has likely changed because heat-trapping gases accumulate in the lower atmosphere, and that atmospheric layer expands as it heats up, much like warming the air in a balloon. And because less heat is escaping into the higher atmosphere, it is likely cooling. This differential would not occur if the sun was a sole climate driver, as solar climates would warm both atmospheric layers, and certainly would not have warmed one while cooling the other. Global sea level has risen about 17 centimeters, or 6.7 inches, in the last century. This rate in the last decade has even doubled that of the last century. NASA has also researched global ocean temperatures, and they have risen by 0.18 degrees demonstrates that the shift we have seen in ocean temperatures cannot be naturally caused. Experiments have been conducted to show that the natural increase is not able to explain the temperatures we have seen occurring in our oceans. But when we compare the rising temperature to the rising CO2 levels that humans are producing, the range is able to match the data much more accurately. As you can see, it is hard to claim that global warming is naturally caused. The fourth assessment report of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change states, it is a greater than 90% certainty that emissions of heat-trapping gases from human activities have caused most of the observed increase in globally average temperatures since the mid-20th century. The matter is real, and humans are going to have to adapt to the changes we have put upon ourselves. Whether this be using alternative energy or just continuing on as we have until the fossil fuels have completely run out, we're going to have to adapt and evolve our lives around global warming. This is global warming, and it's not a hoax.
Do it.
I did it.
Get in the frame. My feet are freezing.
Okay.
Okay. We believe. Just go like this.
Do it. Ready? Oh, God. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know how to sit. Should I sit like this?
Sit there. Okay, ready?
Man, I'm so uncomfortable.
No, aren't we all?